Welcome back. We are here for another day sewing and just kind of messing around. We don't have any particular quilts in mind for today. We probably have I want to say we have about another 3 weeks before we'll start the next one. I haven't sent out the fabric request yet because I still have to have the pattern tested, but thankfully my pattern tester is the best because she gets it done so fast for me.
Is that it?
Hint, hint, wink, wink. She's actually in the room with me right now. She is, I send over the patterns to her. She
Tina said hi.
tests those. Hey, Tina, so glad you could join us. Yay! She's really fast and quick about getting those patterns done and testing them out for me and letting me know if I've got my spelling errors because she used to be a teacher. So I've got the, oh, sorry about that. She informed me she is still a teacher. I guess, yeah, that would, that's right. Once a teacher, always a teacher. Actually, I can kind of attest to that because I keep telling my daughter not to put a preposition at the end of a sentence or a question, especially like it's where are you, not where are you at. Yeah. And I hear it a lot. I hear it a lot. Makes me crazy. And fortunately, my sweet husband was the one that reminded me not to put a prepositional.
You got some laughs on that one.
Well, God bless you. I like the laughs. Anyways, he was the one that reminded me not to put that at the end, and I was like, oh yeah, that sounds terrible. It's not very educated sounding. And then I keep hearing it. I hear it online. I hear it in streams. I hear it people that are out and about just, talking to each other. And it's one of those ones where I just kind of cringe a little bit because I'm like, oh, no, don't say anything, don't say anything. Because, sometimes you just don't want to say anything. All right, let's talk about what we're going to be working on today. Today, you should have, for those of you who received the kit ahead of time, you should have a kit that has all the little itty-bitty parts that you're going to need to do this, and it's going to be fun. And we can thank Miss Sheila for putting the kits together. She put it together like, say 2 years ago. Sorry. Yep, that was my fault. But it worked out great because here we are. We're going to make thread catchers. And so I'm going to walk you through some of the things that I did, which are probably going to be different from what you're going to find on the instructions, which I will send out tomorrow. You'll see it usually about 10 o'clock is when the email arrives. And it will be the instructions, but not necessarily how I'm doing them today. So make sure that you link this or find this or save this or watch for later kind of thing because you may want to go back and forth through the video and see how I did it. I don't know if it's easier than the way she did it. I'll be honest. I looked at a certain part of the instructions and then I was like, well, let's see if we can do it this way.
The pattern tester didn't have a pattern tester.
The pattern tester didn't have a pattern tester. And I cannot claim to be a great pattern tester, so we're just going to kind of walk through this and see what happens next. So, if you want to look at my table, which I'm going to find my tabletop here. All right, as you can see, I have the most important parts. I did actually do this, but I did it about 30 minutes ago because I was testing it earlier this week and didn't get a second set of fabric cut out until today. So what I have here is the fabric pieces. I think I have them all cut. Oh, I'm glad you got the kits, Miss Jerry. Yeah, I made sure that they came out to you. I got them as far as the shop, and that's as far as we got. And hopefully you got them in your hands. Okay, so here's what we have. We have the fabric. I know I'm going to need this is a 2.5 inch. If you have a 2 inch, anything 2 inches or bigger, you're good. You're golden. Then I've got the kit, which has the nice little pieces. Sorry, my thumb had to pop. And then I have the magnetic cup. If you ever see these, I usually see these in hardware stores, automotive stores, Harbor Freight. There's another one besides Harbor Freight, Tractor Supply. Those are all good places to find these. They're not real expensive. I think when we bought these originally, maybe before prices went up, they were around $4 or $5 a piece. Cheaper than that, really? Oh, that's great.
I bought them on sale.
Oh, well, there you go. She got them on sale. So she did buy, and we passed out as many of these as we could find that had the cups in them. And then when the cups ran out, all we had left were the kits. Previously, we handed out the kits with the cups, but we only had so many cups. All right, so we have the cup, we have the kits, and all your little parts are in here. Now, I did email out a copy of of what you needed if you were not able to get a hold of the kits. So, that being said, buckle up and let's get going. Okay, the first thing I started with was the pincushion, and if you will look at the pincushion requires one piece of Okay, so everybody got that, right? Okay, let's try that again. So for the pincushion, you need the focus fabric of one piece of 5x4 and one piece of 5x3. Now, as you can see, I'm actually doing two different ones. So the focus fabric is going to be the one that is the larger of the two. So 5x4, and this is the other fabric, and it's 5x3. Da, 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 da. Okay, so let's just slide this out of the way for right now. And we're going to come over to the sewing machine. Actually, you know what? Hang on just a second. We're going to first do right sides together, and we're going to pin the long sides. So long edge, we're going to pin it. And this is for your benefit because I generally don't pin a whole lot. Okay? And then we're going to turn around and pin the other side. If you have a question and you're not sure what's happening, please put your question up there. Miss Sheila is watching the screen so that I don't miss it, which I do occasionally. So please, please, please ask your question. And the lag is not as bad as usual.
It's about 4 seconds.
Yeah, it's about four to 5 seconds. So please post a question if you have one. And for some reason, I don't see my bobbin thread. Let me see if I can pull my bobbin thread up. You do little thing. Okay. All right. It will probably grab it, but I'd rather make sure. So let me go in here and pull it and see if I can find out where my bobbin thread is at. Where my bobbin thread is, and I just had a conversation about that, about putting a preposition at the end of a sentence. Where it is. Okay. See, I still do it. I don't even realize I do it. Okay. Thread is out. And then we're going to do a stitch all the way down both sides. And we're doing the 1/4 of an inch. All the way down. Don't forget to pull your pins before you run over them, because that is not healthy for your machine or for your eyes. And I even would recommend wearing safety glasses while sewing, because you never know when a piece of a needle might fly up and hit you in the face. And I've never been hit with a needle in the eye, but I am pretty sure it is not very fun. Okay, let's get this in here. Still doing my leaders and enders and still loving it. Okay. Dropping everything everywhere. Okay. Now let's come back over here and we're going to take a look at what we just did. All right, so now you have this lovely piece of little tinted material, And what we're going to do is we're going to mark just to kind of keep track of what's going on. We're going to mark 1 inch in. Yeah, I need a pencil. All my stuff fell out of my little cup, and now I have nothing, no pencils. Ah, here we go. Because the pencil won't bleed through, at least it's not supposed to. And we're going to put one little 1 inch mark, and basically what we're going to do is we're going to put in a dart on both sides. Okay? So when I say a dart, we want to come in here, and we want it to basically match up with the distance from here to here. So we're going to pinch it just like this and try and get this piece out of the way. Because we need to know where to start sewing. And then we're going to end up here. So from here to here, we're going to make one single stitch line. Okay? One little dart. And then we're going to do the same thing on this side. Pinch it. Get that part out of the way. Grab a pin so we know where we're starting. Okay. Now, let's go back to the needle. Get it going, and where did my... It's on the other side. Now this is just an experiment because I did it at 1 inch or 1.5 inches, and it just felt like the dart was just a little too shallow. I'm going to give just a little stitch back just so that that little thing doesn't pop out. And no, I'm not using my leader just because it's a dart instead. But I could have. Probably should have. Okay. Alrighty then. We have it all stitched out, and we're going to fold it over, and we're going to close one end. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? I'm not going to talk about it. Okay. And then we're going to stitch up one end here.
What did you forget to do?
Well, I think on the one I did yesterday, I left the side open, so
I
from
did that too.
right there to right there.
That's what I
So,
was thinking of.
but I think we could do the same thing with the end, but I really like having it on the side.
I do too.
So I think I'm going to take my little handy dandy eyebrow thingy, and if you're careful, you can catch just a little bit of the seam. And we don't need a lot, we just need a little opening. I would probably say that's about a 1 to 1 1/4 inches. And I'm going to double back stitch on that to give it a little reinforcement because we're going to be tugging and pulling on that. So let's get that in there. Okay, and then we're going to do that in there. And I'm not even going to worry about too much about this thread hanging out because it's all going to wind up on the inside anyways. But if you're one of those people that absolutely have to have it, trimmed off, take time, trim it off. Okay. Now, usually it recommends trimming down. Here, let's come back to the table. Usually it recommends trimming off the little corners. You can trim it off or you can leave it. I did it, but then I had to go back and reinforce the edge because I wound up pushing right through the corner. So maybe just don't take a real deep cut. Maybe just a little cut.
Sharon White said I'm here, didn't realize you were on.
Oh, no problem, Miss Sharon. Glad you could join us. We've only just gotten started, so if you've got your fabric stuff, get it pulled out. Let's get going. Right now, we're only up to the pin cushion. And I can walk you through that real quick. Hopefully you got everything cut already, and that way all you have to do is follow along. So we got the 5x3 is for the back part. So if you're using two different fabrics, the non-focus fabric goes on the back, and the focus fabric goes on the top, and you're going to put you're going to stitch both sides down right here, and then you're going to put in a little bit of a dart right there and right there, about 1 inch in. Match up the fabrics here and here, leave a little spot for opening. And again, you can go back and watch this later. I mean, it'll be up on Facebook for at least 30 days. And then, of course, I'll also have it on YouTube. Although I will say that I did not get the one from last week done. I had a power outage, or I think it was a lightning storm last week. I think maybe that's why you didn't come.
I don't remember.
There was a lightning storm last week, and everything got turned off. I turned off my computers, I turned off my long arms, I turned off pretty much everything. Fortunately, we did not lose power, but I'm always nervous about power surges. So I tend to turn off a lot of the electronic stuff. Even though most of them are on surge protectors, I still turn them off because it is majorly inconvenient if something happens and you have to do some kind of, what do they call that, claim on the surge protector. I've heard them say that for years, that you can do claims on a surge protector if your surge protector fails to protect your stuff, but I've never heard of anybody that has done that or successfully done it. Okay, so once you have it out, sorry, I want to make sure my iron was up and running. Once you have it out, I like to go ahead and iron these corners a little bit crisp, and this spot right here, because we're going to go back and stitch that closed. You're going to want to either hand stitch that or you're going to machine stitch it. Now, here's the thing I need you to do. I need you to pull out your batting or your fluff, your fiber fill, and pull out your walnut shells. And this is really all you need. It looks like it's what, about a 1/4 cup? Let's see, what does it say? Washer, Velcro, 1/4 cup. 1/4 cup ground walnut shells. If you've heard me talk about it, I'm not crazy about walnut shells because I feel like they tend to make the pins pitted and gritty. And I've not seen them rust them, but I have seen them create a little bit of grit on the needles. So I'm not crazy about them. But, sometimes you got to go with what you got. No worries, Miss Tina. Please feel free to, please watch. Only because it's great having you on here, and I enjoy so much. So instead of trying to dump them out this way or put them into a funnel or something, here's what I do, and I actually do this with my sour cream at home. If we're doing tacos and we want to try and get sour cream and just certain spots like down the center of my taco, we clip the tip off of a Ziploc bag that we have put the sour cream into, and then we could squeeze it in. But you can do this with your Ziploc bag as well with stuff like this, with using your Ziploc bag to create its own funnel. So we're going to just make a little small cut at the end here. And you never know, you may have to make a bigger cut. And then we're going to open this up. and just go ahead and dump all that stuff on in there. Here's what I'm going to recommend you do. Hold this closed and then kind of dump it into one spot. And we're going to try and put the fiberfill over the back section. Okay. So let me grab some fiberfill. Get my pencil out of the way. Throw my Ziploc bag. And we're just going to stuff it in there. And you can use, and don't overstuff it. You don't want it to be so full that it's basically a big old lump of fiberfill. So I'm using my tweezers to just kind of help get it into the corners. Let's grab another piece. When?
Well, you bought something stuff. All the pellets. With this work in there.
Oh yeah,
Let's talk about that.
you can use pellets, the poly pellets. I like them because it gives weight. And when we were stuffing something the other day, there wasn't much weight to it because the fiberfill it's light, it's like clouds. You just stuffed a pillow with clouds, which is great if you're sleeping on it, but when you're using it to function for something, you need it to have a little more usefulness. Sorry, I have to get that out of my eyes. It was right in my eyes. All right. So we're just going to make sure that we have it stuffed in the corners. Okay. And then I'm going to pinch it closed. Just like this. Just like this. I think there's actually a song that says that somewhere. I don't know. I'm not a big contemporary song person. I like Christian contemporary. Okay. And we're going to go and we're going to stitch. Now I'm using my sewing machine, but please feel free to hand stitch this closed with teeny tiny little stitches so you don't wind up getting the walnut shells out through the holes. And then when you're done, you can always put this part, the seamed part, towards the back of the thread catcher. All right, so it looks like I need to change out that thread. I'm getting a little bit of a fray on there. So let's do that real quick while I'm thinking about it. Yay! Who's number 7? Remember, thumbs up, likes, hearts, whatever. And if you come on, say hello. We want to greet you. And be nice to you and say nice things. Okay, so let's come back to the table real quick. And I only say that because it helps remind me to actually change the camera from there to this. All right, so now if you're looking at it, oh, let's trim that off. Oh, you guys are so wonderful. You guys are the best. You know what? It still wound up sliding to one side. Okay, well, my walnut shells want to slide to one side. So you can stuff it a little bit more. I kind of like that. It's here's the one I did yesterday. And all the walnut shells are all over here on this side because when I dumped it in and then I just put it full of a bunch of the fiberfill and I can't get it to move. It's kind of stuck there. And then there's this one. And I like the size of this one. No, I like this one better. I think it could have used just a little more fiberfill, but that's okay. I took the whole thing and shoved it in this one. All right, so that was the one I did yesterday. And of course, you see my little flamingos on there. Aren't they so cute? All right, get that out of the way. All right, so our pin cushion is done. What's next? Okay, I'll tell you what's next. Next, we're going to do the tab. Let's do the tab. So you're going to need that part. You're going to need that little piece right here, the 4x4. And you're going to need this cute little piece of Velcro. God bless Miss Sheila for providing the right kind of Velcro. There's no sticky on it. Both sides are the Velcro. So one side is the hook loop and one side is the loop part. So we got the hook part, we got the loop part. And whoever invented Velcro must be a very rich man. Person. Who knows? All right, let me see if I can find my ironing board. My portables. Which, by the way, guys, I did pick up some wool mat boards. I will have them at the retreat in March. Or if you would like to get them ahead of time, I do have them here. I actually don't remember how much they are. I'd have to look them up. But it's the typical price for mat board, and I think they run anywhere between 24 to 34, something like that. And this one is 13.5 inches square. It's actually perfect for a TV tray. So if you're at a retreat and you want your own personal little ironing board right next to you, bring a TV tray, bring one of these, bring your small iron. Perfect. I do that all the time when I go to retreats. So I have 4 of them currently that I will bring with me when I come. And like I said, you can get them anytime. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to take our 4-inch piece of fabric. This is going to be our tab. So here we're going to do this. We're not going to iron it down just yet. We're going to fold it right sides together. I'll try to go a little faster, guys. I know I'm going slow here. I'm sorry. Okay. Now let's come back over here. And we're going to stitch one side down. And yes, I did back stitch just a teeny tiny little bit. And my machine does have a cut feature, but if the thread is tightly wound, it will unroll itself right through, and it's a pain. And I have to keep rethreading. You guys have seen me do that over and over again. It's very, very, very annoying. Okay. There we go. Now we're back to the tabletop. All right, so here's our little tube. We're going to center it like this. And you can just put it to one side, but I really like to open it up. And I don't want to iron it just yet because we're not there. So let's just give it a little bit of this wood iron attention here. And I also have these in my Etsy shop. If I don't, let me know and I'll make sure they go back up. Sometimes they get taken down because they've been on so long. All right, and so we're going to go back over here and we're going to stitch one end. So pick an end. Oh, actually, if you got a particular design going on, and mine is right here. I can see the top of my pineapple, and then there's the bottom. So this needs to be the bottom, and we're going to sew the bottom. I didn't backstitch the beginning, but that's okay. It'll be fine. I'll leave the thread in. Okay. So let's go ahead. We're just going to stay right here, and we're going to take it, and we're going to, let me just take off a little bit right here. not all the way up to the thread because I didn't back stitch one of the ends. And we're going to do this. Actually, you might have to remind me later what I used for. Was the polypelvis? Is that what you were talking about? Or okay,
You were using it heavy. I don't know.
yeah,
For needles or
yeah. They move out of the way very easily. They don't get stuck. All right, let's go ahead and come back to the tabletop so I can iron this. Okay. I found I use them quite often. Okay. Now, when doing the putting your Velcro on, you're going to put it on the back side, and you decide which side you want. Do you want the loop side on here, or do you want the hook side on here? And that's what you have to decide. Now, when I was thinking about it, as far as the pocket, the pouch, the cup, the thread catcher part of it, I didn't really want the hook parts here because I'm going to be throwing thread in here, and sometimes the thread can get caught. But due to my own stupidity, I goofed up and wound up putting the hook part here. So what I want to do for this one is I want to put the hook part on the tab. So we're going to put the hook part up top. Or I'm sorry, at the very bottom. I don't know why I said top. And I'm going to measure it and trim it off. Actually, I should be able to pretty much cut that in half if I remember correctly. Yeah, you should be able to cut that in half. So make it kind of even. One of the pieces I had was kind of big, and I actually had plenty left over, a little bit left over. Not plenty, a little bit. Okay. And then, so I said hook side. So let's put the hook side there. And then we're just going to put it right there and do some quick, fancy sewing. Haha. Just kidding. Okay. So we've got the hook side up on the back side of the tab that we just sewed, and we have one side open. Let's get that on here. I think I'm going to start across the center. You can sew it whichever direction you want to. Just remember before you pick up the foot, before you pick it up, make sure your sewing machine comes to a complete stop. I'm really bad about that. Now, we could turn it around to do an X across here, but sometimes I think that's just overkill. So we're just going to go up the side and make sure that the side gets done. And give it one little itty bitty back stitch just to make sure it stays on. Actually, let's get a little more of a back stitch now that I'm thinking about it. Okay, that's good. And snip, snip there. And then find that other piece of thread. And snip, snip there. Here a snip, there a snip, everywhere a snip, snip. All right, hopefully that is not copyrighted. Yeah, I think it's past the age of copyright infringement. I hope. I hope. Okay, there we go. We are back. Now, we have that part done. Let's take this part and we're going to stick it to it so we don't lose it, which is like my middle name. All right, get that out of the way, get out of the way. Let's move this over here. Woo! And then you're going to see if I remember correctly, it's the wide part, right? Yeah, I'm sure it's the wide part if I remember what I was doing. So you're going to have the 8 inches this way and the 9 inches this way. We're going to take both sides, This is your focus fabric. This one is your lining fabric. We're going to stack them up together. And you don't have to do this like this. You can do one at a time or you can do them all at the same time. All we're doing is we're going to box the corners. And to do that, we need to take and just measure. Let me find my pencil. And I don't have a problem marking on this with something other than a friction, although you can use a friction and I use them quite often. I just don't have one handy right now. And we're going to put it right here. And then we're going to do one on this edge. And these are 2 by 2. That's going to be our box. If you haven't noticed, today's video is going to be a little longer than a half an hour today. Okay, how about a lot longer than a half an hour? Yeah, I just looked at the time. I was like, yeah, okay. All right, now I'm going to take 2 pins and I'm going to shove them right in here. And this is to keep my boxes to corner. Yeah, some of them are watching, some are just listening. I've actually heard of a term for this. It's called lurking. They're lurking. They're lurking. And it's okay. Lurkers are good. Lurkers are good. Okay, and I didn't actually put pins in the other one I did, but I'm going to do it now just because I don't want them sliding around on me. And then I'm just going to trim. Trim here, and a trim there, here, trim, there, trim. I guess you get the point. Love those sharp points. If you ever get a chance to get yourself a pair of Karen K. Buckley scissors, they're worth their weight in gold, in my opinion, in my humble opinion. All right, now you got some cute little corners, 2 by 2s that you can actually do the half square triangles on them and set them aside and use them in another project. Or you can do the double where you get 2 on each side. The point is you can either put them in your fabric trash or you can save them in your fabric stash. Ooh, I like that. It rhymed. Okay, let's get those out of the way. We can go and take those out in here. And then what we're going to do is probably going to be different from what the instructions say. I'm going to take and put this one together with this one. I had an idea. Not all my ideas work out, but this one wasn't half bad. Okay. And it doesn't matter just as long as it's wrong sides to right sides to right sides, and you're going to use your focus fabric on one side and your lining fabric on the other. Okay. So focus fabric, lining fabric. Okay. And we're going to stitch along that 9-inch side. Alrighty. So let's come on over here. Oh, yeah. Oh, button. And then right sides to right sides. Focus fabric, lining fabric. I only say that because it's easy to get messed up, especially when, as quilters, we're used to doing the focus fabric in a particular order, and we are actually going to go out of order today. And then we're going to do the other piece. Now, if you have a craft show coming up or something like that, this would be easy to do with to make and produce and have a few out on the table, craft fair, or just as gifts for some of your friends at your folk guild or your sewing community or however however you do it, because you're only using 2 fat quarters, and you can use all the same color, or you can use 2 different colors. You can use a whole bunch of different colors if you want. Do it in a whole bunch of Kona fabric. All right, so what I did last time when I ironed this down, I ironed it to the focus fabric. Hang on. There we go. Sorry guys, did it again. Sheila reminded me. This is why I got Sheila around to remind me when I mess up. Okay, so we're going to iron it towards the focus fabric. This is my focus fabric, and we're going to iron it all towards there. And my iron turned off. Oh, if you didn't realize it, and I may have not mentioned it, you do need a glue gun or some kind of heavy glue that even if it takes a little while to dry, um, you're going to need some kind of glue. Alrighty, so here's what's next. Let me get this out of the way. I think I'm going to have to start putting that fan back out here again. Excuse me, sorry. I am just going to pin right sides together at the focus fabric here, lining fabric, focus fabric. Okay, and I'm going to put a pin right here, one right here. I'm going to line that up nice and tight. And we're going to stitch down both sides. Okay. And put the throat plate on, and so what's for dinner tonight? I would love to hear what's for dinner tonight. You know, sometimes when we can't decide on what to make for dinner, we make breakfast. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and do the bottom part as well. Now this is the bottom part of the focus fabric. Okay, bottom part of the focus fabric, and then we're going to go down the other side. And we're not going to do the lining fabric just yet. We're just going to go down both sides and across the focus fabric. Okay. There we go. Alrighty. All right, here, let me come over here. All right, so we're going to take 2 more pins. And we're going to, Sheila, can you hear the background music from the TV? Can you turn your sound up just a little bit and see if you can hear it? Because I'll have to get Joe to turn it down otherwise. Check, 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 check. Can you hear anything in the background?
I'm not hearing you.
Can everybody hear me okay? Check, check. Yeah, I'm coming. On my screen, it's telling me that the voice is coming through, but that doesn't mean anything. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and finish boxing these corners. And there we go. If you're having trouble hearing me, I need to know. Here, I'll turn my volume up for a second. Check, check. Oh, you know what? Oh no, it's there. I thought my battery died. Nope, there's volume. Okay, good, good, good. Turn my volume back down. Not anyway, never mind. Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. And then we're going to do the other side. So we're boxing the corner on the focus fabric, but we're going to leave the other side open. So don't do anything with it just yet. I know I have some people who do the embroidery class with me. I have a very, very fun embroidery class coming up. It's either going to be a picture or a tote. And I can't wait to show it to you, but I'm not going to show it to you right now. Okay, let's come over here. So we have boxed it, and what we want to do is we want to flip it inside out. And we're going to iron these edges, which I didn't do with my other one, and I kind of wished I had. I kind of skipped this part and went on to the very next part. So let's just do this real quick. We want to iron these edges down. Keep them nice and crisp. Sorry, here I am working off the edge of my screen. I apologize. I'm just going to kind of do both edges at the same time. Hopefully that works out just fine. Okay. All right, now what we're going to do is just put a teeny tiny little seam right through here. Okay. Just a teeny tiny little seam, but you are going to need to probably backstitch just a little bit. So pick a spot where you want to backstitch. I'm just catching just the very edge because I just want to keep it from rolling around, and this helps to keep it from rolling around. And then backstitch just a little bit. There you go. Okay. So we have our edge trim stitched down. I'm going to turn this right side out because what we're going to do next is we're going to place that other piece of Velcro. Now remember, the Velcro that we have on the tab is the hook part. So here on this part, we want to make sure the loop part is out. So we're going to take it, put it together, decide which side is going to be the front, which was going to be the back. I think I like this for the front, so we'll go with that. And we're going to mark the center. Okay. And this is the loopy part. This is the soft part. The hook part is the stiff part. So we're going to put the loopy part right there and right there. Okay. And then we're going to come over here and we're going to stitch it down. Okay. Now it can't slide around on me because I pinned it down. I'm going to go up and back and forth just a few times because I really want to secure that really well. And I accidentally ran over that pin. Y'all, you saw that? Don't tell anybody, okay? Just don't tell anybody. Shh, it's our secret. Okay, so we only want to go across that top part, okay? We're not going to stitch the rest of it in there yet. And I'll show you why. I will show you why. Let's trim off our little pieces of thread. This is someplace you will want to trim off your thread. And back to the tabletop. All right. So we're going to turn it inside out. Pull your boning out. You either got boning or you have shipping straps that they put around boxes. Perfect for this. You're going to use the inside. Doggy. Nicole, to order dinner. You're going to use the inside of your and make it enough to fit very comfortably all the way around. It's really good right there. I'm going to hold it right there with my fingers, just like this. Then I'm going to take use that tape that came with it. I'm just going to slide the tape right there. There's so much left over. I think I'm going to go ahead and take the other side. We're going to slide this over the bottom. I'm going to put this piece right there in the seam. How are we doing on time, Sheila? All right, guys, we can keep going or we can save the other half of this for next Sunday if you would like. I know it'll be after Christmas, which of course, if you want to pick it up next week, if you're going to be out of town or something, you can always, again, watch it on Facebook for up to 30 days, or it'll be on video, at least up to where we're at. It is a lot. It is. That's why I was thinking maybe now's a good time to stop. All right, so I'm working the boning up to the first seam that we did and making sure it's in there really, really good. All right, give 'em a minute. Okay, so I've got it all in here. It's ready to go, and we're just going to stitch right next to it, but we're going to be careful not to hit the boning. If you hit the boning with your needle, you're going to wind up causing yourself some trouble. So make sure you can stitch it, but don't stitch it too close to the boning or too close to the strapping, whichever one you have. All right, let's come on over here. We need to come to the tabletop. And I've got it down there just like that. And I'm going to kind of squish it a little bit. Squish it just a little bit. And I'm going to get my needle down here. I'm going to go forward and just give it a little bit of a back and forth. And I'm going to go slow. Okay. Just trying to make sure it doesn't get folded up in there. Right now, a zipper foot would work really good for this, because I think a zipper foot would give you let you get a little bit closer to that boning. I know with the strapping, I was able to get right on top of it with the foot, but this time the foot wants to go next to the boning. But we do want to make sure that when we go over it, we want to catch this in that stitch. So just make sure that's what you're aiming for. And this one does not have that arm, so if your sewing machine has, when you take this off, it has that arm where you would do like shoulders or arm stitching. That would be great for this. But unfortunately, the PQ 1500s don't have that. Okay, we're getting close. I can feel it under my fingers. Make sure you're not catching any of the other fabrics. Pull them and tug and make sure. Go slow. I think I'm still on my back stitch just a little bit. Okay. Again, keep checking, pull and tug and pull and make sure that everything's still straight. Now this would be a good time to wear safety goggles or your glasses, just in case you do hit that boning and that needle does break and fly up. This would be a good time to wear those. And we're almost there. Okay. Whew. You know, in my opinion, I think that is probably the hardest part of the whole thing, is just that one little section right there, just like that. All right, let's go back over here. Okay, so we got that all stitched up. Oh, hi, Miss Margaret. Glad you joined us. Okay, now you're probably wondering, well, what do I do now? Now I got this thing. How am I going to close all this up and get it done? Well, here's what we're going to do. You're going to flip this inside out, just this part. So that your ends are up here. Okay? Gonna pin this one here, just like this, and pin this one here, just like this. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're just going to stitch just a little ways down, not very far, and from here to here, from here to here to here to here. Okay, probably about a whole inch, maybe a whole inch. Okay, let's come on over here. We're going to go just past that pin. And then we're going to do the same thing to this one. You can turn it over or you can go ahead and just keep going. I'll just keep going. Okay. And then, okay, so this gives us our spot where we need to box our corners. So let's see if that makes it turn out okay. So now we're going to box our corners. And remember, this is the inside, this is the lining. Now because it's the lining, you can do a little bit more than 1/4 of an inch, but I still just follow 1/4 of an inch. I feel like that thread over there didn't catch very well. All right, let's go sew these. You know, when I was out, I saw a bunch of duckies in a Jeep, and I was riding with my friend Donna. I was like, I wonder what's the deal with the ducks and the Jeeps, because it's not the first time I'd seen that. And it has to do something about if somebody has a Jeep you like, you put a duck on their Jeep. And I thought, oh, that's cute, because I love the ducks. I love the rubber duckies. They're really cool. Well, I think quilters kind of have their own rendition of this lately, because I noticed, especially the last couple of retreats I went to, they've been handing out little ducks, and my rabbit's stuck. Here's another one. They've been handing out little ducks and just little animals. I've got a little frog over here, and I just thought it was so cute that I actually glued them to my sewing machine, hot glued them to my sewing machine, because I know they'll pop off when I'm ready. But in the meantime, I just thought they're really adorable, and I kind of keep them out of the way so they don't get in the way of my sewing. But I just love it. I think it's adorable. So I got these cute little animals stuck to my machine. And of course, my flamingo is there. And he's on a piece of tape so I can take him on and off as I need to. Okay. Anybody else know anything about that? Okay. Come on over. Let's take a look at what we got going on over here. All right, so we have an opening. And we need to try to get the whole thing through the opening. I'm going to pin this end down just so it doesn't flip out on me again. Give it a little back stitch. And I'm just going to follow that very edge. And I'm going to check it when I'm done because sometimes that edge pops out on you. And trim that off. Okay. It's done, and we're going to push it back in, and voila. We now have our thread catcher done. Well, the thread part of it, the thread catcher part. And if you look, we got a nice stitch down the edge here, and it sits up so nice. Okay, so that part's done. Let's move on to the next part. You're going to pull out, that shouldn't even be there. We need that part, and this part, and this part, and this part. Okay. Thank you again, Miss Sheila, for putting all these kits together. You are amazing. Let's see, what do I need here? Here it is. All right, if any of you have these kits that came in the Jenny box this year, I think this was this year, wasn't it? There is a pokey thing. Pretty sure it's called an awl, but there's a pokey thing. Pull your pokey thing out because we're going to need that. All right. I think Miss Donna forgot that I was doing my live at 4 o'clock. Okay, so we have our little strappy thing. This has the hooks on it, and this one has the loops. So we got the hooks and loops, so we know they match up well. That's important to know that they match up well. So check them out. If you get it wrong, which I did on my last one, I just pulled this one off, and the back side, at least the ones I have, the back side is also either the hook or the loop, and I flipped it over and stitched it down, and it was fine. But yes, I did get it wrong the first time. Okay, so here's the thing. Let me grab this one. We're going to go ahead and prepare this. So if you can tell, right here, there is a this washer right here, and it's about, I want to say about 2/3 in. So there's 1/3, 2/3, and then so if we cut into thirds, we put it right at about the 1/3 mark. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a pencil. I got a long way this way, short way this way, and I'm just going to take it at about 2/3, 1/3 of the way in. I'm going to draw a circle around it here, and then here. And I'm going to mark a dot right there in the center. Okay? Now, oh, that don't look so straight. It's all right. It don't matter. Not really. Now, one of the things I noticed was when I put this down, if I just used the hot glue, it didn't hold it very well, and it wanted to pop up on me because the magnet on the back side of these cups is actually pretty darn strong. Okay, and so getting it off, you have to give it some force to get it off. And I'll be honest, I move things around. I use my cup for other things. It's great for pins. It's great for needles. It's great for screws. If you ever have, you've got to take parts out of your machine where you're trying to clean something up, you always want to make sure your screws are someplace where you can grab them. And so this is a really good place to put those screws so that they don't roll away from you and don't get away from you. Okay? But in the meantime, this makes it hard for you because just gluing it down doesn't necessarily hold it. So what I did is I went around the outside using my awl and poked some holes. I did quite a few, and I wasn't going to actually stitch all of them, but I did wind up stitching all of them, but you don't have to. Just so that you get a few in there. And please don't poke yourself. So these little awl things that came in these kits that I put down someplace close, I'm sure. Yeah, there it is, covered up. So these kits, because I actually have a couple of them um, that you get from wherever and whoever. This one came from Missouri Star in the Christmas box. They usually have what's an awl, and I don't know about y'all, but sometimes I don't use them a whole lot. I probably don't use these a whole lot either, but I do actually use my awl quite a bit. So it does kind of come in handy. I'm just going to poke one more time there. And then you're going to want to do one good size poke right there in the center. Now what this is for is we're going to actually stitch it over the top of it. And I don't know if you can see it very well. But you can almost see where my stitches went across and around the that awl, the washer, not the awl. Okay, we're done with that. We can put this away. And by the way, thank you, Miss Jenny, for my Christmas box this year. I'm already ready for my next one. I convinced my husband that he did not have to buy me a gift next year because I love my Jenny box so much that I want another one. So he said, okay. He loved it because he didn't have to worry about buying me a gift. He'd already got it done. All right, we're going to take this and we're going to put a little bit of hot glue right here. Now, I don't know where I got this hot glue from, but this stuff is so strong when I put that thing down, it would not even let me adjust it. And I have to do this fast. So we're going to just slide it right on there. And that's it. It won't let me move it again. It is done, done, done. I don't know if it's a Gorilla Glue stick or what the heck that is. All right, we're done. All right, next comes the threading it. I think there is button thread. I don't know, was it? I thought it said jean thread. Oh, it says denim. Yeah, okay. Anyways, what I did is I went right straight through the cardboard, and I'm going to catch it with the needle. Now I'm going to go over one side and come up and go over the other side. Okay? And then if I'd made it long enough, I could do it again. Unfortunately, I did not make it long enough, so we're just going to hope that doing it just this one time will do. We'll be close, we'll be tight enough. The other one I did, like I said, I wound up doing all the holes. But I would at least go back and forth one or two more times. I'm going to try and catch this. And then we're going to call it quits. Okay. All right, so again, go back and forth at least a couple more times to give it a little more stability so that you don't accidentally pull this off. All right, so what is next, you might ask? So this one is for your focus fabric, And this one is going to be for your lining fabric. Okay, so let's do the lining fabric first. Now you got a couple options here. You can trim down your corners, which I've done, and it works just fine, but I'm going to go ahead and keep it straight just like it is. And I'm going to put a little bit right here, and I'm going to try to keep it very straight right there. Now you can sew this because this piece of this cardboard is actually pretty thin, not too heavy. It's just cardstock. It feels like cardstock, so you should be able to use it and sew right through it if you'd like. And I'm sure if some of you don't mess around with hot glue guns too much, it's okay. I'm sure you have a son or daughter or somebody who will be happy to help you. Even grandchildren, probably even great-grandchildren. Just give them a dot where they have to put it, and it's all good. It's probably best to get an idea of where you want it to go so we know we need to go from here to here. And I'm doing it fast because, like I said, for some reason this glue, it dries very, very quickly. Could you sew around it with a zipper foot once you put it in the material? Yes, I believe you can. And in fact, if you want, I can give it a whirl on mine and we can see how well it works. And just be careful because for whatever reason, mine isn't super hot, but it can get very, very hot and stick to your finger. So please, please, please be careful with this glue gun and the glue. And then just, like I said, kind of get an eyeball of where it needs to go. Okay, and right there. Now, next week, I think we're just going to sew together. I think we're just going to get together, sew together, have some fun. I've got some bindings I need to put on some small projects. I got a few odd and end things I need to finish up. And I am still working with Miss Sheila on getting the next pattern ready. And we're getting there. All right, let's come over here. Oh, no. There we go. Okay. Yeah, perfect. Tabletop. All right. I think I want to do it top side up. One thing you don't want to do, though, is you do not want to hit that glue. Now with the other piece, it's too thick. I've already tried it. It doesn't allow the thread to get caught by the underneath bobbin, the bobbin underneath the parts that's important for the bobbin to pick it up and create the loop. So I can tell you right now that won't work. But this cardboard works well. Well, cardboard, I say cardboard, it's probably more like cardstock than cardboard. Okay. Voila. Let's go back here. Go this way. I don't know if you can see it. There it is. And it did a beautiful job stitching that up. So after you're done, you can stitch it up, and that way you have it down and you don't have to worry about it. All right, now let's do this next piece. And basically we're going to follow the same thing. We're going to lay it down. I was going to say you could do a little bit around here or even around here, but I don't know. Let's not get too technical. Okay. Okay. I just thought of something. But that's all right. We're moving on here. Just trying to see if I need another stick. And we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to stick a little bit of glue in the corner. Yeah. I have to think if I was doing the right thing there. Mine gets so hot you don't. Yeah, you don't want to touch it. But you can get those little purple things. I believe the Gypsy Quilter makes those little purple things for the tips of your fingers, and you can use those. In fact, I should have a set of them. I think they're like $4 for the set, but they're great for ironing. When you're ironing, you know, especially if you're steam ironing anywhere close, you put it over your tips of your fingers so that if you blow steam, you don't accidentally burn your fingers with the steam. But it would also be great for these glue guns as well. And yeah, mine gets really hot too. What do I have it set on? I actually have mine set for low. This is a multi-temp, so I can do cold, or not cold, but low and high. And right now it's set for low. Imagine that. I actually did something good. Okay, I'm seeing where it folds over, and I'm going to give it just a quick that way. And fold it over. Because, yeah, I don't remember being able to actually stick my fingers on it previously. So this is like a glue gun miracle if it weren't for the fact I turned it on low. How are we doing on time, you guys? Because we are almost done. 35 minutes, okay. We're actually doing really good. So I hope you guys will get with me next Sunday. I know we don't have anything specific, but it'll just be fun to get together and chit-chat and get some stuff done. Like I said, I got a few little minor projects I'd love to get done. Like I got like at least 2 small quilts I'd love to get the binding on. And I can show you how I'm machine binding my quilts. I think I've already done that, but you know, I can show you again. And my glue stick is running out. But as it turns out, I think this is the last of it. This is the last section we need to do. Nope, I'm wrong. We actually have another section to do. Okay, so when we're done, we're going to glue this down. But one of the things we do need to do is we need to put this on. And you're going to need to remember that we're going to be going this direction, like this. It's going to be like this. I'm sorry, y'all. I feel like my brain is just warped, absolutely warped. So that's what it's going to look like. Okay, now, so we need to decide how far down do we want it. Do we want it real close, like this? Do we want it further back? Centered, of course. I like mine to hang a little bit. I prefer it to hang a little bit. I'm actually going to take probably my hot gun and get this and melt this a little bit and get it to curve out a little bit more. Okay. And I want to be able to see my pineapple. So I think I'm going to put mine right there. And I'm going to go ahead and stitch it down. What do you think? A Bernina 780E. Never heard of it. I would have to research that, Miss Margaret, because I am unfamiliar with the Berninas. Oh, hang on, let me get you over here with me. And I'm going to stitch right into this. And then I'm going to turn it just a little bit. Use my back stitch to back that bus up, and then stitch back down again. And a little back stitch. Perfect. Beautiful. Okay. Yeah, see, I did do that right. Ta-da! Okay. All right, come back up to the tabletop with me. And this is going to go on the opposite end of this. So we're going to glue it down just like this. Now once we're done, you could put a couple of stay stitches in here to keep this stitched up to here, or you can leave it with just the hot glue. I kind of like to do the stay stitch right here because it helps to keep it from pulling too hard and pulling the glue off. Yeah, she may have one. I thought she had a Bernina, but I don't remember which one. Okay, I need my glue stick. Where did it go? Yep, there it is. Because there's not enough glue stick in there now. Okay. All right, so I'm going to glue here. Glue here. Yeah, that's obviously not real hot because I got it on my skin and it didn't hurt. Otherwise, I would probably be howling. Howling, I tell you. All right. And I'm going to put an extra dose over here. Especially in the spot where where this little piece of fabric is going to be. Push it down real good. And then the last one's going to go right here. Again, I'm probably going to go back and put a couple of stay stitches right in here just to keep that attached up at the top. Okay, look at that. Look how nice that looks. Except for all the glue strings. You'll have to clean those off later. All right, now for the very last piece. Miss Sheila, keep me on track. Make sure I got this right. For the very last piece. All right, so we've got the strap here that's going to stick to our bucket. We have the washer at the back end, which is where this is going to go. And now we need the, oh, here it is. Okay. And now we need the last and final piece, which is the pillow. And we're going to put the pillow right here. Actually, you know what? I'm going to turn that pillow around because all my stuff is right there. All my walnut shells, they're right there. Don't forget, oh yeah, don't forget to thumbs up and like and send hearts. Facebook likes that stuff. So we're going to do one more last little piece here. And we're going to put a nice healthy portion of glue right here. And get it down real quick. And that's going to go right there. Okay. Now on this one, I don't know if you noticed it, but I went back and added a little more glue right here and right here. And it is kind of pulling up the fabric a little bit, but honestly, it's quite all right. Okay, and I think according to this, I even put a little glue right there. Nah, I think I stayed. Nope, I think I did. I think I put a little bit of glue right there. So I am going to put a little bit right there. I think I put a little too much. That's okay, I can clean it off. All right, there we go. All right, you all. Y'all. My southern accent is kind of going bye-bye. So many years in South Carolina, and I couldn't hold on to the accent. All right. And there you have it. One beautiful thread catcher that you can keep or give away. And honestly, for the whole time together, it probably, if you were doing this on your own or doing an assembly line, making them as gifts for friends or whatever, sister quilters, you probably an hour at the most. And you could probably get a whole lot of them done all at one time. Thank you, thank you. And it's beautiful, and we want to thank Miss Sheila for introducing us to this lovely pattern. And if for some reason you did not get it, let me know. Send me your email address through private messages, because I don't want you to put your email address out there. Nobody else needs to see that. Excuse me. And I will send you this pattern. It was a lovely pattern. We enjoyed it. We had fun with it. This is like my third or fourth one. And these you can find at like any of the hardware shops, probably like Ace, Tractor Supply. What's the other one, Miss Sheila? I can't think of the other one. Ace, Tractor Supply. I know there's another one. Dang it, I can't think of it. Anyways, and I loved this fabric, and I used two different fabrics. You can use one fabric and just use half a yard, or you can, in fact, you probably won't need that much. Harbor Freight, that's right. I kept thinking it started with an M, and that's what was throwing me off. Harbor Freight. And it's just a very cute pattern, very quick, works up very fast, and it's a lovely gift. It's a wonderful gift. I tell you what, I have thread catchers at my sewing table. I have them near my embroidery machines. I have them over by my long arms. I have thread catchers everywhere. So these are always a winner in my household. All right, does anybody have any questions about this? And my lovely two temp. I do like the two temp. I didn't think the low temp would work very good, but I do love it. I love my low temp. Please hang on if you would like. We're going to be doing the prayer very, very soon. And if you have any questions, I am more than happy to answer any questions. Thank y'all for hanging with me today. I had a good time. I really enjoyed this. It was a lot of fun. It challenged my brain because, again, I don't normally follow patterns very well. I tend to adjust to my liking, and I do that a lot with quilt patterns as well. When I see a pattern within a pattern, then I tend to kind of steer towards what I think would be easier. Sometimes I make more work for myself, sometimes not. Sometimes I do okay. All right, we are going to do some prayer requests. We have our ladies, some of our ladies are not feeling well. We want to make sure we lift them up in prayer. Again, we've been praying for our country. It just, I remember hearing my dad say every time you turn on the TV, it's just more bad news, more bad news. And then as I got older and I know I was watching the news, I was like, oh, the world's going to hell in a handbasket. And then I remember something I heard, and it really struck me because they're not wrong. You hear about all the awful things that are going on in the world, and what the newspapers said for a long time, and I think maybe it was something they kept to themselves, was if it bleeds, it leads. And I know why that is. It's because it sells paper. It'll sell papers or subscriptions where people will read it or people will, watch it. I mean, these days it's all about views and likes and clicks and basically the same thing. It's no different from buying a newspaper when you like or subscribe or share something. It's no different than buying a newspaper. And so with all the bad stuff that they can dig up and put out there and show to you, you can't help but to wonder what the heck is happening to the world. But all you're seeing is a lot of the bad stuff. Some of the good stuff's not getting out there. It's not getting shared. It's not getting liked. It's not getting viewed. And I think if we see more of what's good in the world, not necessarily what's bad, because I think it's teaching people that if you're bad, you'll get more attention. And I know that we're like, well, duh. I mean, that's the way, a child is. If they're really bad at home, they'll get more attention from mom and dad, so any publicity is good publicity. No, that's not the way that works. What happens is the whole world turns into chaos, and I feel like sometimes I feel like that's where we're heading, is into chaos if we're not already there. Anyways, that being said, doom and gloom, sorry guys. We are going to pray now for the nation and hopefully get us out of that doom and gloom. Everybody ready for me? Father, even through all the chaos, even through all the things that are going on, we want to just say thank you. Thank you for your love. Thank you for your grace. Thank you for your mercy. Thank you for the lives that you've given us, even when we feel like things are not going well, even when we feel like we're suffering, Father. There's something going on that needs to be brought out into light. And we oftentimes can't see it. We don't know what it is, Father, but you show us. You show us if we are patient, if we listen, if we watch, Father. You show us what we need to see. And Father, I just ask you right now to bless my sisters. Bless those women out there in my Quilty family that need your touch right now, Father, that need you to send that healing to them, Father, from the top of their head to the bottom of their feet, Father, and back again. Whatever it takes, Father, give them that healing touch, give them that healing warmth, Father. Let them know that you are there and you are always with them, Father. I just ask you to give them grace, give them what they need to keep going, Father. We just love you for what you do for us and for all the things that you are to us, Father, for the love that you show through us and give to other people. Father, we thank you for the Angel Tree Mission. I know that it has been given such a hard time this year, last year, year before. But Father, there are people out there with a kind heart who sometimes give what they don't have. And that's what you said, Father, when you set that woman to give her last flower and her last little bit of oil, and then you blessed her family mightily. She gave willingly, Father. She gave her last little bit, and then you blessed her. We just thank you for all the Angels Trees people that reached out and gave the last little bit they had, Father. Just thank you for the gifts, even if the receivers are not necessarily grateful, or if they're abundantly grateful, Father. Just bless both sides, no matter which one it is, Father. And Father, I ask you to bless this nation, bless this country. Father, we were founded because you gave us this opportunity to be the nation we are. And Father, we thank you for it. We just ask you to help us find a way through the division. Help us find a way through the derision. Help us find a way through the chaos and come back to you. In Jesus' name I pray, amen. Whole lot packed in that. I hope that each of you has had a wonderful Christmas. Keep the reason for the season. We know it was the birth of Jesus Christ. We love Santa. It's a wonderful story. And even in its foretelling and its retelling, the Santa story is a wonderful story. But the reason for the season is Jesus. And we just thank you for him. We just thank the Lord that he sent him to us. And I hope you guys have a wonderful week, a wonderful day. Enjoy the day with family. Enjoy your dinner. I hope it's a fabulous one. And I just thank you for being a part of this with me. Whatever it is that we do, I'm just grateful that you are here with me, sharing this moment in time, sharing this day. I hope you all are blessed immensely. I love you so much.